So day 2 of the Trans Catalina Trail. I am taking my time getting up this morning, A, because I've got that great campsite that's in a cove removed from everybody else, and B, I'm not really going that far today. I'm just headed back to the town of Two Harbors. So I'm going to be taking a different route, and because I don't have anyone around me to disturb this morning, I'm going to break out the map right here at the picnic table at my campsite and kind of show the route. Okay, back on my cartoony map right here. Yesterday I went from Two Harbors, took this road all the way to here, Parsons Landing. So today, remember this map is old. This is no longer the trail. This is actually officially the trail now. Now today, I'm going to be starting at Parsons Landing, taking Fence Line Road, which I hate. I hate Fence Line Road. I'm going to be complaining. It basically just goes straight up to the top of this ridge, and then kind of taking this ridge around, and if the clouds clear, I'm going to have views of both sides of the island, and then taking it around, coming down to Catalina Harbor, and then across the isthmus to Two Harbors, and I'm going to be staying at this campground and doing more snorkeling today. And just to add, because I can, this is my campsite. Remember, I already broke down my tent and everything. Little cove, all to myself. That sailboat's coming in though. All to myself. Heard the waves crashing all night. Was away from all the other people. It was pretty awesome. So one of the things I forgot to mention yesterday is that all campsites on the island have what most hikers know as a bear box. There are no bears on Santa Catalina Island, but there are these jerks and those a-holes. So there's the island fox and the raven. And the ravens have always been a problem. I've seen them open cardboard boxes and unzip bags. The foxes are kind of new. They're an endemic species, well, new to the issues. They're an endemic species of fox. They're really, really tiny. They're adorable. But the problem is people have started feeding them, and what happens is when you feed them, it changes their behavior. They either beg or get aggressive around food, and I mean, they're foxes. They're sly. They'll steal your food. So they've been having a problem with these guys at campsites. I never used to see them. When I first came out here, they were shy and being foxes, but now I've seen them at campgrounds a couple times. And again, they're adorable, but when you start feeding them, they stop becoming foxes. Now the ravens are, I don't know, I think they're funny. There's not much you can do about ravens. They're really smart, and I don't know, I think there's a hilarious visual image in my mind of a group of ravens, and they're called different things, a conspiracy of ravens and a kindness of ravens, doing like an Ocean's 11 coordinated attack on your bags to get your granola bars when you're not looking. I just think that's funny. It's not funny when you come back and find they're gone, but ooh, the sun's starting to peek out. But in my head, that's a pretty hilarious visual image. All right, headed out. Up higher in elevation now. Down there is Parsons Landing, where I just walked from. I suggest maybe downloading a GPS track of this, because the signage coming out of Parsons was not particularly clear. They still have signage from the old trail, and I almost took the wrong trail up the mountain. But see, up in elevation, that's that peninsula I cut across yesterday. So the trail I took to Parsons Landing is just kind of at the bottom of this hill right here. And about to hit, I'm not sure if it'll come out on video because of the sun, Fence Line Road. So this is Fence Line Road, and you might be able to see it. It's running along one of those ridges there all the way up to the top, and it's one of those things where it's exposed, it's hot. I've kind of been sweating since the second I left Parsons Landing, and there's a couple little bumps there that kind of are false summits. Like you think you're at the top or near the top, and then you round that little bump, and nope, you got much further to go. So heading up to there, I'm sure I will pause, you know, not because I'm tired, just because the view is beautiful. Definitely not because I'm tired. Somewhere along Fence Line Road. Headed up. Okay, Getting there. Looking down Fence Line Road. Parsons Landing is way down here. That's the Boy Scout camp from yesterday. And turning around here, that's the ridgeline I'm going to be walking once I get there. I have what I hope is just this much more. That little bump up there mostly lines up with what I'm seeing of the ridge. It could be an optical illusion again, but getting there. Made several stops along the way. And I made it. And since I've done this last, the Conservancy has installed this nice covered picnic table, which is really nice after that big long climb. By the way, that last video I did where it looked like I was kind of at the top, nope, not even close. Just lots and lots of false summits on that one. What is really interesting to me right now is I'm looking out the front side. So Catalina kind of runs northwest to southeast, so there's no real west north sort of stuff here. But if the island were to have a north side, it would be this side. But it's called the front side because it is facing the coast, which probably is not coming out that well on camera. Can't even focus on it. But I can actually see the coast today. I'm assuming that big peak kind of right in the middle there is Mount Baldy, so that has to be the San Gabriel range, which I am really surprised I can see because the bobcat fire is just wreaking havoc through the San Gabriel range right now. I did drive by it the other day, and the fire was pluming pretty hard from the north side, and this would be the south side. So maybe it's cleared up on the south side and the winds have kind of pushed the smoke away. But yeah, that's the mainland of California. So the mainland facing side is called the front side, and since I am at the peak here, this is the back side. All that's out back there is Pacific Ocean all the way. Yeah, these ravens over here sitting on these poles are kind of mad because they were sitting at the picnic table before I got here. That's the backside. So this road right here is just, you can see it kind of just rides the ridge, and that's what I'm going to be taking till I hit Cat Harbor. But pretty cool, and bonus that you can actually see the mainland with all the fires going on today. New views. Still heading along that crest on the quote-unquote west side of the island, and the west side is everything west of this isthmus. You might be able to see it. So the water kind of dips in here. That's Catalina Harbor, called Cat Harbor. And then on the other side of this ridge, where it dips in there, is Two Harbors, which is the final destination and the starting point from yesterday. So very, very beautiful. Tomorrow I'm going to be going on this section on the other side of the harbor, and then the views coming this way are awesome. So I'm excited for that. I'm still making my way down. It's hot and it's exposed, but it's very pretty. I am on a leg wobbly descent here. Everything on Catalina seems to be super steep. It's not that far, but everything is up and down, unnecessarily up and down, but we're getting great views of Cat Harbor. And Cat Harbor is one of my favorite places on this island because when I was getting my master's degree, this is where I got my stingray tissue sample. So I studied the population genetics of the round stingray, and I was able to get my Catalina sample from Cat Harbor. And it was actually the Catalina sample that showed something interesting, showed that the stingrays are genetically isolated to some extent from stingrays on the mainland. So like, not like a new species, but they're not really like traveling back and forth a lot. And what was cool is then a grad student after me then used that information for her thesis, where she was studying contaminants, and came out here for a reference population, and sure enough, the stingrays out here had very, very little contaminants in their tissues, and the ones on the coast had a lot of contaminants in their tissues. So it was really cool not only to see, you know, the thing that you researched be kind of confirmed, but also to see that little bit of information you uncovered is then used in subsequent research, which is then used in subsequent research. It's the cool thing about science. But anyway, coming down to Cat Harbor, you get a lot better views. And long story short, there's a lot of stingrays in Catalina Harbor, especially near the pier. This, if you can hear me over the wind, is outer Cat Harbor. Isn't it beautiful? This is the end that leads to the Pacific Ocean, to the backside of Catalina. And then it's a big, long harbor. Lots of moorings. Beautiful water. And then over there is the pier where there are tons of stingrays. So I do not suggest splashing around and wading in that area next to the pier. Speak of the devil. Two little shapes going around there. Those are stingrays. It's hard for me to see it in the screen. I hope I'm zooming in on kind of the right spot. Yeah, right here. That's a round stingray. And then that was another one right next to it. Cool. And right next to the pier. Back here is Cat Harbor. I'm currently in the middle of the isthmus, and I believe this is the schoolhouse. There's actually residents that live in the town of Two Harbors, like permanent residents. And then, as you can see on the other side, is water again. So just went from looking at the back side of the island to the front side of the island. And if I was continuing on the trail today, I think I just head up this road here. Yeah, it looks like it. But instead, I'm gonna make the left, go into town, go to that same building and check into my campsites for the next 2 nights, and then go set up. My apologies, the bigger red building is the yacht club. The schoolhouse is this tiny guy right here. There aren't that many permanent residents in Two Harbors. Residents appreciate you wearing your mask. I am actually wearing my face covering. I've been wearing them in town. Got this cool Life Aquatic, the Steve Zissou patterned mask, which I think is totally appropriate for being next to the ocean. Okay, so up this hill and around the corner is the campground. So this is site 47 at Two Harbors Campground. It's kind of tucked away and hidden, but took me a while to find it, but it's obviously still close to other sites. There's another site right up here. But I don't see the food lockers here, which is weird because I thought they were here. They're doing a lot of renovations, so maybe they were taken out. But I also already saw a bunch of ravens and a seagull who had previously pillaged something fighting over the plastic. So I think what I'm going to do, because I am definitely getting in the water, is I'm just going to put all the stuff in my bag, in my tent, and hope I don't get pillaged. This little lump right here is an island fox. I saw him coming up from snorkeling. And he's still here. Cute as a button. Now they're much smaller than regular foxes. Most things that are on islands are kind of smaller anyway. You can see he's really, really tiny. This should be a full-grown adult. And each of these offshore islands has, I think, a different subspecies, but they all have island foxes. And this is just the one at Catalina. And of course we see him at the campground. I just went into town for some goodies, so I might as well show the town. This is Harbor Sands. It's new. It looks like you can get cocktails and food there. I just went to the Two Harbors General Store to grab a beer and some goodies. Next to it is Harbor Reef. There's a restaurant and a bar area that serves bar food. Usually just get the bar food because it's cheaper. Over here are the restrooms and the showers. And then this is the visitor center where you check in. So just past the visitor center is the path for the campground. I'm going to try to pan a little slower. And just past Harbor Sands is the trail that takes you up to Parsons Landing. So headed back to the campground. Alright, the sun is getting kind of low in the sky. I just went into town. I got a bunch of treats, including a sculpin IPA, even though I didn't see any sculpins while snorkeling. So I think I'm calling it a day for day 2. Day 3, I'm going to go to the backside again to Little Harbor, where there's a campground there too. I'm gonna hopefully do some snorkeling, and then I'm gonna go to the interior, all the way up into the interior. And if there was a day I'd bet on to see bison, that would be day 3.